One of the largest and most well-respected consulting companies, AlixPartners, have released information saying that of the 129 EV and plug-in hybrid companies in China, 129, basically none of them will be in existence except for 15. There'll be 15 left by 2030. Which 15 are they? Well, AlixPartners doesn't say what they are, but I've got a pretty good idea. So I'm going to tell you which ones will be around in 5 years. Now, keep in mind, guys, there's only 2 companies in China right now that sell EVs that are profitable, but there's 0 companies that only sell EVs that are profitable. As in, yeah, there's companies like BYD who sell a lot of plug-in hybrids. In fact, more than 50% of their car sales are plug-in hybrids. The rest are EVs. They're making money, apparently. A lot of people say they're not, but I believe that they actually are. And there's one other company that's making money. That's Li Auto, but they're predominantly a plug-in hybrid company as well. So in other words, no EV companies except Tesla worldwide are actually making a profit. So the key question here is who are going to go bankrupt? How quickly? Well, probably pretty quickly. And this is not just AlixPartners saying this, by the way. The CEO of XPeng, he said recently that 7 companies would be left. 7, not 15, but 7. Hello, my friends. Great to have you with us. I'm Sam Evans. If you get value from the channel in any way, please support us by becoming a YouTube member. I'll put a link in the description below. Only a handful of EV makers, this is a reference to NEV makers, new energy vehicle makers, will be left in 2030. I mean, this is a lot of consolidation. If you think about it, it's probably not drastic. It's probably not an exaggeration from AlixPartners because there was 500. In 2018, there was 500 of them. It's now 129. So 371 have disappeared within the last 7 years. That's quite a lot. The electric vehicle boom in China is going pretty ballistic, guys. I mean, look at these sales numbers. Just came out within literally 10 minutes ago in China. China's NEV retail, new energy vehicles, combination of EVs and plug-in hybrids, most of them being EVs, hit 1.11 million in June. Highest numbers so far this year. And comparing that to June of last year, sales have grown by 30%. 30%. But actually, EVs have grown even faster. EVs accounted for 661,000 of those 1.1 million. 661,000 of the 1.1 million, meaning, what? About 70%, no, 60%. So that's good. Sales of EVs up 33% is awesome. And EVs actually contributed to 54% of all sales in China in the month of June, 54%. Now, by 2030, most experts believe that figure won't be 54%, it will be 100%. I mean, why on earth would you buy an internal combustion engine car? A purely internal combustion engine car is simply a liability, and it'll be close to 100. It's not 100%, it'll be close. It'll be like Norway, where it's 97% right now. So that means that these 129 companies will have a big, decent sized market to play with. We're talking about 32 million car sales per year, but they've got a long way to go to actually make money. And some of the challenges are that these brands, some of the bigger ones, are willing to sell at a loss to get rid of the smaller ones. BYD has admitted that themselves. They're willing to basically crush the smaller companies. And if you're smaller and your sales are, say, 10% of BYD's or less, and BYD is willing to sell at a lower price than you, meaning at a loss, and also because they're making more cars than you, it's cheaper for them to manufacture each car, how long do you have left to stay around? Probably not long. So with hundreds of startups already gone and consolidation gaining momentum, China's EV market is headed for a major shakedown. And a transformation like probably what we haven't seen for a very long time. In 2018, as I mentioned before, there was around 500 companies in China that were either developing EVs or planning to sell them. Many of these companies actually failed quickly. As of 2024, there were 129 left. As of 2025, I believe that number is actually now down to 127. According to consulting firm AlixPartners, 15 will remain viable financially through 2030. While the consultancy firm didn't name which companies it expects to thrive, I will. And these 15 brands could account likely for around 75% of China's total sales in 2030. 75% from these 15 brands. Some of them have already reached full-year profitability. According to the head of AlixPartners Automotive Practice in Asia, Stephen Dyer, some local governments may support non-viable companies to protect jobs and economies, but they can only do that for so long. If these companies are losing billions of dollars, such as NIO, how long can a local government help that company? It can't lose $1 billion every quarter, for example. I mean, that's too much. Consolidation will proceed more slowly across the industry in the coming 5 years, but it will unquestionably happen. In other words, bankruptcies will unquestionably continue to happen. China is one of the most competitive new energy vehicle markets in the world, said Dyer from AlixPartners. It is experiencing a fierce price war. I see it as a race to the bottom. Its rapid innovation speed is constantly being refreshed by new forces, such as environment drives. Such an environment drives significant breakthroughs in technology and cost efficiency. But it also makes it very difficult for many businesses to become sustainably profitable. This has happened across many industries, this race to the bottom, this price war, and it drives most companies, except the absolute strongest, completely out of the market. As I mentioned earlier this year, only 3 EV brands are believed to have achieved profitability. Now, that's believed because some people say it's not true, that it's a mirage, but I can't confirm that. These companies include BYD, Li Auto, and the Seres Group. But, I mean, as you know, those 3 companies predominantly sell plug-in hybrids. And as you can see, plug-in hybrid sales, they're not growing anywhere near as fast as EV sales. EV sales represent 60% of the market and then growing faster than plug-in hybrid sales and EREV sales as well. Now, the Seres Group includes ATO and the Landian brands, and yeah, they don't sell EVs at all. They only sell plug-in hybrids. Some of the local companies, though, that are getting towards profitability, there's 3 of them, include Zeekr, XPeng, and Leapmotor. I think it's pretty safe to say those 3 companies will still be around in 2030. Now, could you have said the same thing about those 3 a couple of years ago? No, things have changed significantly though. So, which of these companies will still be around according to the SAM analysis? Well, yeah, I've used a bit of ChatGPT, a bit of my own experience and knowledge in the industry, a bit of Grok, a bit of Gemini. I've done a bit of research on this, and it's a little bit tricky because, to be honest, in terms of small companies, there's actually not that many that I think are going to be around. There's some key reasons though why these companies will be. BYD, of course, they're going to be around in 2030. I don't think there's any question about that. Li Auto, I believe that they will be too. Though they do need to pivot faster to EVs because being so reliant on plug-in hybrids and EREVs is not a safe strategy. NIO, will they still be around? Well, I think they will be, but not as they're known today. The chances of NIO continuing to make multi-billion-dollar losses every year for the next 5 years, investors won't continue to bail them out. It's just not possible. NIO will be acquired by another company, or there'll be some sort of collaboration where NIO will be forced to join with another company and be subservient to them. Sort of like what Nissan did with Honda before that whole deal fell through into the toilet. That's what will happen with NIO. So NIO won't be one of these companies that sticks around by itself in 2030. XPeng, as I mentioned before. XPeng, of course, they only sell EVs. They do have a new plug-in hybrid coming. I've got a video on that, by the way, coming out tomorrow. But XPeng have experienced enormous growth, and profitability is likely to happen by the end of 2025 based on their current financials and forecasts. Geely Auto Group, they have a few brands, right? Lynk & Co and Zeekr. It's a bit confusing because Geely have proposed that they're actually buying Zeekr and Lynk & Co. They're doing a share buy, basically kind of like a share buyback. They're basically buying those companies. So, I mean, obviously Zeekr and Lynk & Co are going to be around in 2030 because they're part of that group and they will be protected regardless. But they are successful companies making very good cars. And I think they could stand on their own 2 feet if they had to. GAC Aon. Now, this is a bit of a tricky one because the truth is they're part of the GAC group. Aon is the EV brand of the GAC group. And, GAC could have a tough time because they make a lot of internal combustion cars. I think sales of those vehicles will completely die. But the Aeon brand itself will still be around. They make cars very efficiently and they're quite popular still in China, even though their sales have declined significantly over the last 6 months. Before that, they were selling 50,000 cars a month, EVs a month. Chery sales over the last couple of years have been astronomical. Their sales worldwide are growing rapidly, and there's really no danger of Chery not surviving. But Chery is not one of these NEV energy makers. They're not a NEV EV brand. They're just a big brand that sells internal combustion cars and EVs and hybrids, so we can't really even put them in this list. But we can put Leapmotor in the list. Leapmotor, they make affordable EVs. Their sales continue to go up almost every month, like XPeng, and they have been growing their sales globally, expanding their model lineup, and they are clearly on a path to success similar to XPeng. Outside of those companies I've just listed, it's actually very difficult to figure out which other companies will be successful in the long term. Some of the companies will be simply by the fact that they're not that big and therefore they can't lose too much money, and they are essentially part owned or fully owned by local state governments. Those companies will continue to exist and they won't be losing enormous sums of money. They're not losing huge, they might be losing, say, $50 million a quarter. The state government can handle that. Doesn't like it, but they can handle that, and they'll just keep that in place in order to preserve jobs in that local area. But it's really hard to identify which companies will truly be successful. I think it's very clear of the standalone EV makers, the ones I've mentioned will be successful. Now, of course, Xiaomi as well, but Xiaomi, whilst they are a new EV brand, absolutely success appears to be guaranteed considering how well they're doing so far. They are still the sort of a subsidiary of the global Xiaomi company, and I don't think you'd call them a standalone startup type brand. But that said, Xiaomi, along with those other brands that I've mentioned, I believe will have continued success over the next 5 years. Guys, I hope that helps to answer some questions. I definitely don't put NIO on this list, as I mentioned earlier, for the reasons that I mentioned, but I don't think they'll necessarily go bankrupt in the traditional sense like Nissan is likely to. They'll simply become part of another automaker. Maybe Geely might actually buy them. Geely has a lot of brands. It's possible. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Bye-bye.